2, 3. Let's just testing 1, 2, 3. I'm just testing the audio now to make sure that everything is working fine, because in the past I've had a situation where the audio wasn't working. Here we are, we're live. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another live session. It's been a while since I've done a live, but as it happens, let me just test the audio again. Sorry, guys. Hello, hello. Okay, I can't hear a thing. Oh, it's going into the wrong headset. Bear with me a second. Let me just. Perfect. Okay. All right. Let me just mute that so that it's not doing a live. All right. Wonderful. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another live feed. It's been a while since I've done a live, and I was actually going to record a video, but I felt a sense of urgency, and I thought I'll just get it out. I don't want to procrastinate about this topic. It's pretty urgent. So I was playing with Midjourney actually right now, and I was able to. It's amazing how far it's got. I joined the beta program on the Discord, and I was just playing with it, and it's incredible the kind of stuff that it can do and what people are currently doing with it. And it got me thinking about the paradigm shift that we're just about to enter, or that we've entered, and how it's going to leave a lot of people behind. Now, I'm old enough to have witnessed at least two different paradigm shifts in the past that is quite similar to what we're going through right now. And I thought I would just illustrate those really quickly to understand, or to illustrate how urgent the situation is right now, especially if you're a young person. If you're 15, 16, 17, 18, or your early 20s, and you're listening to this now, this is crucial, okay? So when I was younger, when I was just entering university, I remember that was just the time when computers were starting to take over. So, for instance, people that were in their final year when I was in my first year, most of them wrote their thesis, their end of course thesis, by hand. So they would handwrite and bind and submit. That was acceptable. Maybe one or two people would take their stuff to a typist who would have it typed up, but they understood that students weren't expected to type stuff. Most homework obviously was done handwritten. By the time I was in my second and third year, computers had made such a massive inroad into education that most people were expected to hand in their thesis typed, right? Because you didn't have to go to a professional typist to have it done anymore. We had access to computers in the university, at least those of us that were in the engineering and mathematics and science related subjects. We had email, we had access to the computer room. Some of us even had laptops and computers at the time. By the time I was in my final year and leaving university, we were all expected to type our thesis and hand in work typed. So just in the space of 3 years, we went from handwriting stuff to typing stuff, just like that. I know now, looking back, that everything is typed, everyone can type, and now we have like voice transcription. It doesn't sound like such a big deal, but back in those days, it was such a huge shift, and it left so many people behind. Now, I was lucky that even by then, I was already touch typing, because when I was about 13, my dad had a computer, and I used to practice typing on that computer for whatever reason. And the high school that I went actually had a typing course, because they had the foresight to offer that to the students, and a lot of us took the course. And by the time I graduated from high school, I could already type with all 10 fingers very, very fluently. So that really helped me going through uni, having that skill. But a lot of people didn't have that skill. A lot of people, were doing the finger typing thing, and I could type pages and pages and pages of stuff, like, without thinking about it. I even remember I used to, I was so fast at typing by then that I used to type up all the stuff for my friends, right? So all of their homework and even their thesis, basically they would give it to me and I'll just type it up in one evening, right? And I did it completely for free. I did it on my computer because, it was fun for me to do and it was very easy. Whereas it would have taken them hours and hours, maybe even days to type in a simple thesis. Later on in life, when I was working, in the job market, there was another change that happened, right? People started only getting hired if they had IT savvy, right? If they were IT savvy. Now, IT savvy meant they could use a computer, yes, but it also meant that they could not only use a computer, but they had knowledge of how the internet worked, so they could browse websites and understand what they were looking at. They could look at emails. They know how to use email. They know how to use Excel, Word, Microsoft, da 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 da. You know what I mean? And prior to that, though, people weren't expected to know that stuff. People would, used to handwrite things. Documentation used to be typed by the professional office typist, and people used to sign them, read documents. They used to have physical folders and stuff on their tables. But by the time I was, in the job market, a lot of the stuff had moved digital, right? So we were sending documents by email or by any other way that was electronic, or at least printing stuff out electronically and sending stuff by post. And a few years into that, the whole postal system, post departments in our offices, a lot of them were shut down, replaced by emails and PDFs and stuff. And the new people that were being hired had to be IT savvy. So you had to know how to use a computer. You had to know how to send emails. You had to understand how to use Microsoft Word, word processing, Excel, and those kind of tools. And again, that happened so quickly that it left a lot of people out in the cold, and people had to like go take special courses. IT people, man, that was the dawn of the IT professional, the tech support guy, and they earned a lot of money because it was in such high demand. Because this entire industry, the entire world was moving from analog to digital and needed a lot of support. So those people who had IT knowledge, IT training, made a lot of money and found themselves suddenly really, really successful and in high demand because they had a little bit of IT knowledge, right? And again, places like high schools that had the foresight to teach their students IT give them a gift, much like my high school that taught us how to type give me a gift going into my uni days. IT that was taught in a high school got people a lot more jobs than anything else that they studied in university. In fact, a lot of people who did engineering degrees and all other sort of jobs that started getting phased out, electronics, soldering and stuff, no one soldered anymore. All of that was replaced by computer science. And people who knew a bit of information systems, actual IT, had an advantage over people who graduated with engineering degrees and such, right? And those people, I remember, had to go do IT courses to convert their degrees into information technology so they can get jobs in the job market because IT was in such massive demand. And now, fast forward to now, what we're experiencing now is something very, very similar. And a lot of people are taking it for granted. Now, if you look at YouTube or even like Twitter, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you'd have seen the hundreds and hundreds of videos, if not thousands of videos of people going, "Oh my God, ChatGPT, yada, yada, yada." Now, ChatGPT is not the only AI platform that's out there. It's just one of the ones that just happens to be very, very popular, right? Very, very easy to use, and it's got free access, right? Now, before ChatGPT, there was a lot of AI that I used to play with, right? And they weren't quite as good as ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has been one of the ones that's really nailed it, and it's basically, very popular because people have been able to just log in with Google and play with, right? And now you have, GPT-4, and you have some paid version of ChatGPT, which is smarter and a little bit faster, and gives you more sort of ability to create more stuff. And I've been playing with some of that stuff, and just my mind has been blown by how much better it is actually now than it was just a few months ago. Now, the thing that people don't understand is AI isn't static, it's continuously iterating. So the more that we're using it, the more people are using this AI thing, the better it's getting. So it's already a lot better now than it was in January or this time last year. Now imagine how much better it's going to be by December. And the improvement is not even linear. It's kind of a hockey stick exponential thing. So by this time next year, everything would be AI. We're going to start to see job openings. They're already happening, by the way. Just go do a search on one of these job sites and put AI as one of the search code and the keywords rather, and you will see already AI jobs starting to show up. And not only that, you will start to see that AI jobs are paying higher than the others, much like in the last say 4 to 5 years, how blockchain was sort of the search buzzword that was in these jobs that people were hiring for and paying more for, because blockchain knowledge was really, really high demand. Now, the AI programmers are now in such high demand, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Now, it takes years and years and years to become an AI programmer. It takes maybe even decades of, computer science and all that sort of stuff. But you don't have to be an AI programmer to capitalize on this. In fact, there's coming a time where you will be expected basically to know AI. And what you can do for yourself now, especially if you're under 20 or in your early 20s, is drop whatever it is that you're doing now and go and master AI. Maybe not drop everything, but at least get a chunk of your time and dedicate it to mastering AI. Because there's coming a time when AI is going to take over all whatever else you're doing right now. If you're a writer, a painter, a content creator, you're an accountant, whatever it is that you're doing, your legal advice person, your CPA, your coder even, AI is going to replace all of that really, really, really soon. I mean, a lot of the stuff is already possible by AI, and it's just cleaning itself up. It's iterating, it's getting better. Already, we've had the first incident of AI fixing its own code, which is what we would, if you watch any of the iMovie, what's it called? iMovie, iRobot, Terminator. That's the sign of what we're scared of, right? We're scared of the singularity when AI becomes self-aware, fixes itself, iterates infinitely. We're not anywhere near that yet, obviously, but we're starting to see signs of the possibility of that actually happening. But before that happens, what we're going to get is AI just basically replacing people in offices. If AI can write me a book, then why do I need a copywriter? If AI can illustrate the book, why do I need an illustrator? I could just type in prompts into Midjourney, which is in beta at the moment, and it's already that brilliant. You can imagine a year of inputs and iterations and people, giving feedback and it fixing itself and updates and fixing of code. We're going to have it's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. I was in a cafe today and I was demonstrating it to one of the baristas there who's interested in technology. And I basically sat my laptop there, and in 5 minutes, I generated a children's storybook. Now, again, it looked really digital and weird, with the way that ChatGPT and all that sort of stuff works. But with me having played with it for so long, I knew what prompts to give ChatGPT to produce sort of weird outputs, right? So I knew how to word my request around what usually appears, digital and AI. That by the time we were finished, we had a product in PDF format that you could actually sell on Amazon and one of those places. So again, a lot of Amazon sellers now on KDP, the Kindle, what's it, digital publishing platform with all the PDFs. That's now awash with lots and lots of AI content. with people like, giving AI the structure and chapter headings and things, and asking AI to produce fantasy books, just auto-generated by AI, and then they, clean it up a bit, change the story around a bit, maybe massage the structure. So before you had to sit down and actually write stuff for months. Now you can prompt AI to just spit something out, spit your first outline out. Now, unfortunately, some people have been lazy and just basically published the AI content as is. And you can see that it's AI, just like the structure of the chapters and stuff. But some more intelligent people or, smarter people have gone in and they've like, reworded some things, restructured some things. And then with Midjourney, they've, done the illustrations. So in the past, you'd have to like maybe hire an artist who you would, give the book to, explain what you wanted. They would create some sort of artwork. And that was an industry in and of itself. And then there came a time where you could just hire that out on a gig on Fiverr for like really, really low, which is way cheaper than having an artist. And they would go in, maybe some of them are artists too doing these gigs, but give you something generic, right? For your KDP book, design a cover for you, what have you. Now you can get Midjourney to design the cover. And you can give the Midjourney prompt the size of the cover you want, the color scheme. You can even give it a bit of the story or what have you. And it generates you something. If you don't like it, you can like change some things. You can say, oh, make that bit bigger, change the color around. And it's just astonishing how you could sit down and within a day you can have a, a decent, presentable book with illustrations that looks good, package it up in a little PDF thing, and sell it. If you don't want to sell it on KTP, which is where most of the traffic is, you can sell it on like Etsy. And you can even sell it on eBay, by the way. You can sell PDFs on eBay. Did you know that? Or you can set up your own website, fantasy books, AI innovationbooks.com or whatever, and send traffic there by having a YouTube channel that talks about stuff, and then you just sell that as your merch. The cloud's the limit with this stuff. And the reason why there are some people now making quite a bit of money is because there's a small pot of people that understand how this thing works, right? There's not that many people. They're in there, they're writing code with AI. The people that are generating apps that are now being sold on Android app store that they've generated with ChatGPT or GPT-4 rather, okay? And there are people who are selling books, like I said before. People are selling digital planners. People are selling, patterns for knitting, what have you, all generated by AI. Because there are not that many people that know how to do it yet, there's still people making money out of this now. So there's going to come a time where, again, like anything else, people are going to learn how to do it. People are going to understand how it works, and you're going to get more and more people doing it. And then obviously it becomes more and more difficult to make money out of that sort of stuff. But if that's what you want, if you're trying to make money out of AI, now is the time to master it. It's not actually that difficult. Just you don't even have to, not everyone wants to be a marketer. Not everyone wants to make money out of, these things. Some people just want to get the knowledge, right? If you want to gain the knowledge, this is the time to get on there, jump on it, and learn it. So if you're a young person, you're 15, 16, you spend the next month just mastering GPT-4, mastering Midjourney, mastering the other one that does the video. Imagine there's AI now that can give you a video sequence based on text. So you're talking about text to video. So it's something like, oh, you can tell it, I want a 1-minute video in vertical format of, a cartoon dog jumping around playing with a cat. Something like this. And it would go away, churn, and give you a decent sort of AI generated cartoon of a dog and a cat playing. And then you could do a voiceover on that by yourself, or you can do a text to speech voice generator. You can generate the script with ChatGPT. You can take that ChatGPT text, you can sync that into a text to speech generator. and you can generate voiceover without ever showing your face, without ever speaking a damn word yourself. It's incredible where this thing is going. And of course, the more of this stuff is generated, the lower value, the lower quality content we're going to see. But that's going to drown out a lot of lower quality content that humans are generating. So we're going to get a world where only the highest quality human stuff and AI are going to be available. Because what's the point of low quality human content when that can be done really, really quickly by AI? So if I were you, you know, it is an urgent situation right now. Now, if you've established yourself in life and maybe you're retired or you've made it in business, you're an employer now, you're financially free, you've got your own passively, money generating business or anything, then maybe this isn't such a big deal for you. But if you're a young person who's just now figuring out their education, maybe you're in some sort of technical field, maybe you're in a legacy type profession and you're hoping to become, a copywriter, a script writer, or whatever, you're in direct competition with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is going to be free and fast, that doesn't take breaks, that doesn't need a holiday, that can iterate forever, that could potentially write better than you. So why wouldn't you master it so that you're the one controlling the AI? You're the one that is feeding the AI, because there's still need for human input in terms of prompting AI in what to produce. And we're going to need people who are going to speak AI language. Not everyone can do that. So the people that have mastered it, understand how to communicate with AI, understand how to prompt it to give the best results, those are the people that are going to be in high demand. So we're going to have, obviously, the AI programmers themselves, but we're going to also need people who can use AI to produce stuff for companies. So if you're, again, in your early 20s or you're a teenager and you're listening to this, get your act together, do yourself a favor, download a whole bunch of AI-based apps and start playing with them, start generating stuff. Go to OpenAI and sign up for ChatGPT. It's free if you've got a Gmail account, or there's a paid version, but the free version is good enough. I mean, like I created a code for not Tetris, a snake game that runs in JavaScript, and I actually found a JavaScript compiler online, and I copied the code into the compiler. It found one error, which is like a typo, not a typo thing, but like a code thingy midget. And once I removed that bit, it compiled happily, and it executed the code. I mean, on a browser, you can see this had a like up, down, side arrow that you could press with your mouse, and the snake thing like goes. I should probably do a video while I'm doing that live, because people probably don't believe me, think I'm capping, as the young people say, but it's 100%. And the whole thing took me less than 10 minutes to do. And that's just nuts. And I'm not a coder. Now, if someone was a coder and wanted to write something, you could use these GPT apps to produce the outline, the generic template, right? It's an amazing template generator. Another thing that I did that's actually quite cool is I'm on this blogging platform called Hive, which uses a markdown language, right? And I went ahead and said, look, could you write me, it's like a blogging platform, right? But it is done in markdown language. So you have to do like hashtags to get the header, star dot something to get bold, etc. Right? There's a language. So it's not HTML, but it's called markdown. And I said to ChatGPT, can you generate me a post, just as a test, a blog post with 500 words, with Markdown that is postable on Hive, with all the headers and stuff done in Markdown. And it didn't know what Hive was, because the code was compiled in 2021, which predates Hive's fork from Steam. So I said, look, can you do this in Steam Markdown and give me the code? And all of a sudden, I got the code box, and it did the whole sort of Markdown language with the coded div / yada, yada, yada. And I copied that and pasted it in a Hive template draft page. And lo and behold, it looked really beautiful on Hive, already formatted beautifully. That's pretty powerful, man. ChatGPT understands what I meant by a Markdown code from Steemit. So it goes without saying that ChatGPT can give you a HTML post, right? So if you use your own WordPress program, for instance, or you have your own, blogger, or just your own like website that uses, and you still use HTML the old school way, you can get ChatGPT to fix your style, the style of your page. You can use one of those free Google blogging platforms, Blogspot or Blogger, whatever, and you can edit the actual code in that to make it look like you want, so it doesn't have to look exactly like one of the templates that Blogger gives you, right? So you can get into ChatGPT and you can say, oh, look at this website and give me the CSS code to style my website like that. And it would spit it out. You copy the code. If you know anything about CSS, you can fix whatever you want. You can change the parameters. ChatGPT even tells you, oh, you can edit this if you want. You can change the parameter here, change the parameter there. You can copy that and paste that into your backend. And you can get the code to fix your, to make your page look like the one you just copied in one click of a button. Just the power of it is on fire. I mean, because I am quite technical, so I understand what ChatGPT is giving me, right? And how long it would take me to do it if I were to do it by myself. People who write, obviously, can see that, that's the obvious one, right? But in terms of just knowing what to say to ChatGPT and the other AI tools, and the quality of the stuff that you can get from it, it's mind-boggling. And I think it's incredibly urgent. It's incredibly urgent. The time is ticking. If you are a young person, the best thing that you can do for yourself now is to master AI technology, because that's the future, and the future has already begun, and it's very, very urgent. And it's only a matter of time before, if you don't know AI, you're going to be left in the dark. That's the end of this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow and like, and I'll be back again with more of this stuff soon. So take care of yourself and start learning AI. Peace.